Creator, may the words of my mouth and the meditations of all our hearts be a light to your sacred word. You are our shepherd, we shall not want. You make us lie down in green pastures. You lead us beside still waters. You restore our souls. You lead us in right paths for your name's sake. Even though we walk through the darkest valley, we fear no evil, for you are with us. Your rod and your staff, they comfort us. You prepare a table before us in the presence of your enemies and our enemies. You anoint our head with oil, our cups overflow. Surely, goodness and mercy shall follow us all the days of our lives, and we shall dwell in your house our whole life long. Amen. Surely goodness and mercy will pursue us. Only goodness and mercy, please, for now. Friends, as I prepared to write this reflection today, I was wondering, what are the words that you need to hear in this time? What for you are goodness and mercy? Any good shepherd must both scan the hills for a wolf and scan the sheep for dis-ease. Any good shepherd must both look ahead on the path, particularly through the darkest valleys, and at one's feet, lest they stumble on loose rocks. But today, this day, where are you looking? What is on your horizon and what is at your feet? Who is walking alongside you and who is guiding your path? It is not lost on me that this psalm, written about God as shepherd, was ostensibly written by King David, once a shepherd himself. This is the imagery familiar both to his own life and of his tradition. In Exodus, we hear of Moses, the fugitive prince, minding sheep in Midian. In 1 Samuel, we hear young David minding sheep of his father Jesse, and then King Saul. For us as Christians, these images might conjure up Luke's birth narrative, while shepherds watched their flocks by night, or bringing lambs to the manger. But for Jesus and David, the image of a shepherd was often used to describe the role of kings. We see this in texts like Isaiah 40:11. He will feed his flock like a shepherd. He will gather the lambs in his arms and carry them in his bosom, and gently lead the mother sheep. Also, we see it in Ezekiel's damning critique of the corrupt leadership in Israel during the Babylonian exile. Seriously, if you haven't read Ezekiel 34 lately, it's worth the ride. This understanding of king as shepherd is less focused on the royalty's power and riches and more about responsibility and care. But within that responsibility and care is also an aspect of sovereignty and autonomy. That is, it is God who chooses a king, not Babylon and not Rome. It is also within God's sovereignty to do away with unjust kings and assume the role of the shepherd themselves. God who anoints one's head with oil to mark one as sacred and chosen for leadership. God who prepares a table and offers a cup that overflows even when enemies are present. God who wisely knows of resting places, medicines to restore souls, still waters of life, and safe paths through even the most treacherous, narrow places. God who is in sacred relationship with these lands as a safe haven, despite the proclamations of Babylon, of Rome, or of other conquering empires. We might not use these words today, but for me, there is a connection with our deepening understanding and respect of creation. In February of this year, the Mutesh-Igao-Chipou, or Magpie River in Innu Territory, Côte-Nord, Quebec, was the first river in Canada to be granted legal rights of personhood. This affirms the river's right to life, to exist and flow, to evolve naturally, to be protected from pollution, to maintain its integrity, and to take legal action. Similar campaigns and rulings have also happened in India, Ecuador, Colombia, and New Zealand. In almost all cases, this has been related to campaigns for Indigenous self-determination and a recognition that right relations is not only people to people, but among all of us as parts of creation. In Robin Wall Kimmerer's 2013 book, Braiding Sweetgrass, which I also highly recommend, she begins by telling the creation story of Sky Woman. Falling through a hole in the sky world, her fall slowed by geese, she lands on the back of the turtle. Sky Woman, in relationship with the creatures around, plants a garden and nurtures life in this plane. Among other wise words, Kimmerer laments how most of us have forgotten what it's like to have a mutually beneficial relationship between humanity and the land. So focused on how we are destroying the planet and trying to lessen harmful emissions or deforestation or the plethora of plastic, it seems our only opinion of ourselves is evil and our only option is to flee. We preserve pristine areas and desecrate others. We set up a dichotomy between where we live and where nature lives so as to limit harm, as if there could ever really be a dividing line. But we are not very good at imagining, let alone living, in relationship. It is in this framework that I want to invite you to hear the account of Jesus' words in John's Gospel, "I am the Good Shepherd." When others run away at the first sight of difficulty, the shepherd stays in relationship. The shepherd seeks to know and be known, to speak in familiar tones, to develop bonds of mutual benefit, not only with the sheep, but with creation, the source as well. The shepherd recognizes the humanity, the sacredness of other kinds of creatures, of all life, and seeks to foster equity among them. The shepherd exercises autonomy, even sometimes over life and death, but only because they are in relationship with Creator. Over this next while, there are going to be times when your strength is strained, when you feel like you are falling from the sky, when you are in the darkest valley, when the wolf is watching from the hill. May you remember your relationships with each other, with all of creation that softens your landing, with the source who renews you, revives you, and sets a place for you. May you remember that Babylon does not have the final word. May you remember these words: goodness and mercy. Surely goodness and mercy will pursue us. Only goodness and mercy, please, for now. Amen.
The Lord is my shepherd. shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the path